Hey, good morning. Welcome to Worship Wednesday. My name is Eli, and I'm really grateful to be with y'all this morning. I'm Eli. I'm the worship director here at Summit, and I don't know, this morning I was hoping Ziva is my dog, if you're not a regular viewer. And she's often right up here on the couch next to me during Worship Wednesday, and she was... And I don't know if while I was practicing the song for today or something that she was like, yeah, I've had enough of this nonsense. So she's just laying by the front door. I don't know. So she's with us in spirit today and just right over there, but not right up here. Well, I hope you're having a good morning so far, or day, if you're joining in with us later. Let's jump in. We'll take a look at our memory passage. It's a few verses this week that Wade kind of pulled out from Numbers for us, and so let's just kind of read through that. From Numbers 14, verses 1 to 4, we'll take a look at our sort of core passage for this week. Is where we'll start out. It says, "Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. And all the Israelites complained against Moses and Aaron. The whole congregation said to them, 'Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become booty. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?' So they said to one another, 'Let us choose a captain and go back to Egypt.'" So this is a very understandable thing that I think a lot of us can probably identify with. There is one thing I know, this particular translation of the Bible, the New Revised Standard Version, the NRSV, is one that I've used a lot, and I really like the NRSV as translations go. I do think it's funny in this passage when it says, "Our wives and our little ones will become booty," because that's just not a phrase that any of us will ever use in our daily life, so far as I have ever heard it. It's sort of like like pirate booty, which is this like spoils of war. So it's a really tragic thing that they're expecting. They're saying like our wives and our kids are going to be taken and enslaved and abused, and like they won't even get the dignity of death in this. They're going to be captives. They're going to be taken as slaves and horrible things. So it's a very real fear that they're experiencing. And anyway, so that's just one of those things when I'm reading a translation like that, and I think, I come across a word like that, and it just takes me out of like the seriousness of what the people are saying. But that's kind of what they're talking about, is like they'll be captives, and it'll be no good at all. One of the things that I find interesting in the midst of this story, and thinking about kind of what Wade was walking us through this past weekend, is, we talk about, this story is a great illustration of our God is this big, mighty, awesome, powerful God. And so whatever it is that we're facing, whenever we come up against tough stuff in our lives, however big or small, but especially the big stuff, it is really important for us to say, like, our God really is bigger than that. I think, what's important for me, and one of the things that I have to do in the midst of that kind of stuff, is to remember that God isn't, our faith doesn't ask us to deny the difficult realities that we're in. We're not saying God is bigger, so this hard thing is nothing. Even if you look at the passage from today's reading, it's from John 11, which is the raising of Lazarus, and there is this moment where Jesus weeps. Jesus is deeply moved. So So Jesus isn't, even knowing he's going to raise Lazarus from the dead, Jesus isn't saying, hey, chill out, it's fine. God is bigger, don't cry. Jesus cries with them, and God is bigger than it. And God's power is more than the tragedy. So we get this thing that happens, and we've been thinking about this somewhere, or I've been thinking about this somewhere. God's power and God's mercy, God's might and God's mercy are not things that are separated from one another, that in one moment we get God's might and in another moment we get God's mercy, but that those things are expressed together. That Jesus's power and compassion come together in that story. And I think that there is this similar thing of God's being with us. It's not a way of just like denying the difficulty of the things that we may be facing, but it's acknowledging the bigness of God in the midst of that. And the power of God is inexpressible. The mercy of God, the compassion of God is beyond what can be contained. Anyway, so with that, let's just head into the song. There's this song, it'll be a new one, and we're going to do it this weekend at church, but I kind of came across it recently, and I think it would have been a really good one for this past weekend. But we're going to do it this weekend. I think it's still going to be good for us in the midst of this series, and it's a good song. So we're going to sing Speak to the Mountains this morning.
Why would I worry when giants come calling my name? My God is so much bigger than troubles I face. Why would I hunger for power or riches or fame? My God is so much better than all of these things, and I won't be shaken, and I won't be moved. My God is faithful, His promise is true. So I'll speak to the mountains, oh, it's time to move. My God is bigger, better, stronger, greater than you. My enemies scatter, 'cause they know the battle is done. My God is stronger, the victory's already won. He died for my ransom and rose up on the third day. My God is greater than death, hell, and the grave. And I won't be shaken, I won't be moved. My God is faithful, His promise is true. So I'll speak to the mountains, oh, it's time to move. My God is bigger, better, stronger, greater than you. There's no mountain too high, there's no valley too low, there's no fear that I have He doesn't already know there's no problem too big, there's no weapon too strong, there is nothing for God that's impossible, there's no mountain too high, there's no valley too low, there's no fear that I have he doesn't already know, there's no problem too big, there's no weapon too strong, there is nothing for God that's impossible. And I won't be shaken, and I won't be moved. My God is faithful, His promise is true. So I speak to the mountains, oh, it's time to move. My God is bigger, better, stronger, greater, bigger, better, stronger, greater, bigger, better, stronger, greater than you.
Amen. That's kind of a fun song to sing, isn't it? And it's a good thing for us today. Just remember that God is with us, and if we're facing some tough stuff today, big tough stuff, little tough stuff, whatever, God is with us. And for those of us, if we're having an easy day or just a fun day or whatever, or maybe it's just where we're being led into, we can be that presence of God to one another also. So so my hope is that wherever we're at, that we get to experience the closeness of our God with us, either in our time of need, or we get to experience God's closeness by being it to someone near us. So, with that, I'm gonna leave y'all this morning. I'll say hey, good morning to Raymond and Luann. Good morning to Jenny. It's wonderful to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And we'll see y'all soon. Okay, take care. Bye bye.